For years, the narrative has been simple. Science explains everything. God explains nothing. But that story is starting to crack. Dr. Sai Garta is not a preacher. He's a molecular biologist, a career scientist, a former atheist, a man trained to trust data over dogma. And after decades in genetics and biochemistry, he reached a conclusion that surprised even him. Science does not eliminate God. It points beyond itself. Evolution explains adaptation. It explains survival. It explains biological change over time. But it does not explain why you believe murder is wrong. Natural selection can describe behavior that increases survival. But morality often demands sacrifice. Sometimes even death for strangers, for truth, for justice. If survival is the highest law, then self-sacrifice is irrational. Yet humans call it noble. Why? Because morality feels objective, not convenient, not negotiated, not evolving by preference. When a child is abused, we don't say, "That's evolution at work." We say, "That's evil." Evil implies a standard, and standards require grounding. Science measures what is. It does not tell us what ought to be. You cannot put good in a test tube. You cannot sequence justice in DNA. Dr. Garta argues that the deeper science goes into fine-tuning information theory, genetic coding. The more it resembles language, structure, intentionality. DNA is not random ink spilled on paper. It is coded information. Information, in every other context we know, comes from mind. This does not reject evolution as a biological process. It challenges the idea that blind materialism is enough to explain reality. Because evolution can describe how bodies develop. It cannot explain why humans hunger for meaning. It cannot explain why truth matters even when lying benefits us. It cannot explain why love feels transcendent. And it certainly cannot explain why humans across cultures intuitively reach for God. For the believer in Jesus, this does not replace faith. It strengthens it. Faith is not belief without evidence. It is trust grounded in reason, experience, and revelation. For the skeptic, this is not a demand to abandon science. It is an invitation to follow it further. If morality is real, not just preference, then it must be rooted in something beyond chemistry. If human dignity is real, not just evolutionary advantage, then it must be grounded in something higher than survival. And if love is more than neurons firing, then perhaps reality is deeper than materialism allows. Science can map the mechanism, but it cannot supply the meaning. And maybe, just maybe, the hunger for truth, justice, and goodness is not an evolutionary accident. Maybe it is a fingerprint, not of randomness, but of design.